Today we have the Q&A. So there are not too many questions, but I think need a little bit of a long explanation. So, okay. So let us go to the screen sharing. Not too difficult tonight, one. Don't worry. Not too difficult. Okay. All right. Question 1. I feel at ease doing chanting of Metta Sutta, but not of Ratana Sutta, due to the faith and doubt factor. Does it mean only certain people or noble ones can chant Ratana Sutta for it to be effective? A few days ago, when I go for a walk, I felt like I have stepped on water. There is a cold and wet sensation at my foot, at my toes and foot. I checked and checked, but it looked dry. But it looks dry. Am I supposed to just note it and then ignore it? Okay, let's go to your question number 2. Then we go back to number 1. Now, when you are going for a walk, you are not in the sense of meditating. You're not in the sense of fully meditation. But of course, it's good that if you felt something, if you felt certain sensation, like for example, like cold and wet sensation in your foot, then okay, once in a while you may want to check it. It's all right, But then if you check it and it looks dry, then perfect. Then after you carry on, then it's perfectly all right. Yeah, this one you don't have to worry about it too much. But there are times when there's cold and wet. Then after that, when you open up your shoes, it's actually wet. It's actually cold, and it's actually red. Why? Because your blood is all oozing out. Sometimes you go for a walk, you may find a leech or 1 or 2 leech just stuck to your feet, Then the leech, as you walk, and then how come my leg is getting wet and getting wet? And there you are, you open up, then you see all red color, all the blood is there. Yeah. And at one time I was sitting in the car, after I finished a walk, and then I came back in then on the car together with a devotee. He was driving and I was sitting beside. And I was sitting there. And then I was after some time I felt that how come the buttock is getting wet? I'm sweating quite a lot. Then after that, when I get up from the car, then I look at the seat. Oh goodness, I wetted the area. The seat become red color. Like having a period like that. So, but luckily the seat was a leather seat. Therefore, it unable to the blood unable to stain. So it's just by using a wipe it, then perfectly all right. If it's a fabric, then it's a problem. Yeah. So when you go for a walk, it's good that once in a while we check here and there. Every now and then when I go for a walk, I do check my legs, I check my arms and so on. Yeah, it's not just walk, but I check everything. Yeah? Anyway, here it's okay. Yeah, all right. Let's go back to number 1. I feel like this is doing Metta Sutta, but not Ratana Sutta due to faith and doubt factor. Does it mean certain people and noble ones can chant Ratana Sutta for it to be effective? Well, let's look into Metta Sutta and Ratana Sutta. Now, Ratana Sutta, generally, it is meant for like pandemic time, Sometimes you see in the internet, we notice that there's a lot of monks who are doing Ratana Sutta chanting. It's because traditionally Ratana Sutta is being used to overcome evil spirits, evil spirits and plague and so on. This was because of in the time of the Buddha in Vesali, and then there was a many humans died. Because of a human died, then it attracts evil spirits, or it attracts a lot of petas coming. When the petas come, it also attracts a lot of disease comes, and the disease came too. So when the disease came, then it affects the human back again, right? So when it affects the human back, and then more and more death occurs. And therefore they asked the Buddha, they requested the Buddha to come from Rajagaha to Vesali to do the Ratana Sutta chanting. And after do the Ratana Sutta chanting, learning the Ratana Sutta, and Venerable Ananda, go around Vesali and then sprinkle water, holy water, all around the place, and then they were cured. The city was cured. Was able to overcome the plague and famine and so on. So therefore, with that, we usually use that for this occasion. And this Ratana Sutta, it's not only for noble ones. Everybody also, if you have certain degree of faith, then of course you can chant. Of course, if initially you may not have the faith, but chant it anyway, if you can. Perhaps later on, that type of understanding through the understanding of the nature of the sutta, then you begin to have faith over time. You may not have faith right now, but over time the faith may start to pick up, which is good for you. So don't put it aside first. Don't rub it off yet. So just if you want to do it, then do it. That will be very good for you. But Metta Sutta is more of a general. We use it more of a general, but specifically at times of, like, again, traditionally we use it to overcome certain fear of evil spirits again, because of the nature of the monks went to a certain place to meditate, but then was affected by all kinds of spirits go back to see the Buddha. The Buddha gave them Metta Sutta, and then they go back there. They went back there, they chant the Metta Sutta, the spirits were happy, then the monks could able to meditate. Then with the monks could able to meditate, the spirits begin to support them, to help them, to protect them. Then the monks, within the 3 months, they attain arahantship. So usually also this Metta Sutta, we use it we use it for almost everything. Sometimes like every occasion, good occasion, then we do Metta Sutta. And sometimes a lot of other times also, when there's an evil spirit, we also do Metta Sutta also. Sometimes even death also, at certain times, we also do Metta Sutta, but not only for the death, but the deceased, but also for the one who are living. So here we understand the doubt, the faith is there. So hopefully you can able to understand the English version of Ratana Sutta, and then by understanding it, then it will be good for you. Okay? All right. Let's go to a second question of a second person who asked the second person. Now the next question is it's connected to Metta Sutta, but it can be quite long, looking from a different perspective. Okay. Bhante, there are 3 questions to be asked from this passage from Mahasi Sayadaw's book, Brahma Vihara. Question 1. So beings who have come forth, depending on sticky substance from plants, shrubs, grass, vegetation, or mucilage, etc., at the moment of rebirth consciousness takes place are regarded as Sambhavesi. In the case of devas, are they Sambhavesi first, then Buddha immediately afterwards? Okay. So, according to Mahasi Sayadaw, the manner of developing metta with a view of to bring about prosperity and wealth is correct practice. All right. Now, the question here is related to the book Brahma Vihara, which is also actually a very good book. If you want to learn about the Brahma and also you want to learn about the Metta Sutta, not only give you the English translation, this Brahma Vihara, but it gives you point by point explanation, which is very good. And Mahasi Sayadaw derived it from the I think mostly from Sutta Nipata, where this Metta Sutta is, and the commentary on it, and also Mahasi Sayadaw explained a lot of things in the terms of theoretically and also practicality, which is very good book. And also nowadays this book Brahma Vihara, there are also some translator has tweaked edit the language to a more easier to read, a newer version of this Brahma Vihara, which you can find this book in the internet. You just type Mahasi Sayadaw Brahma Vihara, it comes out different form for you to see. They're older English. It's older, not so good in the edition, which is done by the Burmese. And I believe that the newer version done by more of a Westerners, they edit, they tweak the language a little bit so that it's easier to read. But anyway, question 1. You see the question 1, I put it in green, and then there's a reddish in color or orangey in color, and then there's a pink in color. And because of due to the passage, and I need to this one, to connect it. Now, question 1. So beings, anyway, when this thing was sent to me, it was take a photo and then from this one, and it's a bit difficult for us to read. Okay, it's a bit difficult for us to read. So let me delete this. Okay, let me delete this, and then I put it in another way because I have digital copy. Okay. Now here, according to the green, is the first question. Okay, let's start a little bit first, in the beginning part. Putting it in another way, it means that a person who has entered into a womb of an earthly mother, that is at the time of conception, Sambhavesi, at the time of conception, seeking for a new existence. After being born, he is deemed to be a person who has become a living being, a Buddha. Similarly, creatures who are about to come forth from egg is Sambhavesi. Now, the question is this: if the gestation period has passed and it already hatched, it means Buddha. Beings who have born complete with the material body. Hold on, I make it bigger a little bit. Okay. Beings who have born complete with material body, and beings come forth depending on viscous or viscid sticky substance from plant, shrub, grass, vegetation, or mucilage, etc., at the moment of rebirth taking place are regarded as beings or creatures in the making, that is, about to become. All right? About to become. Now. The question is this, because we go back a little bit more. We go back a little bit to this one. Okay, let me this one. This is a passage from Metta Sutta. Ditta wa yewa aditta yewa dure vasanti avidure. Buddha wa sambhavesi wa sabba satta bhavantu sukhitata. The word here, sambhavesi, Sambhavesi. And the word Buddha. Here, the word Buddha here, then normally in the translation, we just use it as beings. But because of they use the word together with Sambhavesi, then here the English translation, I took it from Bhikkhu Bodhi, whether they have come to be or will come to be, they have come to be or will come to be. Yeah? They have come to be means that like you, me, the devas already in existence, the chicken is there, they are alive right now. That means Buddha. Whether they have come to be, that means they have come to be, or will come to be. Will come to be, the word Sambhavesi here, it means seeking for existence. Because there's a word bhava, to become. Sambhavesi, a seeker to become, for existence. All right? Now, you and I, or rather, Putujanas, and also below Anagami, not Arahant, below Anagami and until all the Putujanas, all beings are Sambhavesi, in a sense that they will seek for existence. Whether you like it or not, the craving of becoming, bhava tanha, it's still there in us, right? Because of that bhava tanha is there, then beings will seek existence from one existence to the next existence to the next existence. So Sambhavesi, it means those beings are seeking for existence. Okay. All right. So this one is below this one. So and for this particular Metta Sutta, the word Buddha here, the word Buddha here, they specifically for Arahant. Specifically for Arahant. But in other times, Buddha just means beings. But for this part, the commentary put it as those for whether they have come to be is for Arahant. So therefore, Arahant and non-Arahants. So whether they have come to be, which are Arahant, will come, whether those, they have come to be, they are Arahants, will come to be Anagami and below, until Puthujjana and all beings. For this type of, for Metta Sutta. Okay? For Metta Sutta. Now, this is where the word Sambhavesi is. Sometimes this word Sambhavesi, people have misunderstood that this Sambhavesi may means a soul. Like when you die and then there's a soul and then it enters into the womb and then together with the conception of the sperm and the egg together, and then there's a Sambhavesi enter into it, and then therefore it becomes a being. So they thought that this Sambhavesi is like a soul that enter into it. But this word Sambhavesi is not a soul, is not this one. Afterwards, we're going to look into it a little bit more on this Sambhavesi and what it meant by it. But before you understand how beings arise, then it's good that we have to know what is rebirth, how rebirth takes place. Let me go a little bit further down. Okay. There are 4 types of birth according to Buddhism. Okay. 1 is the egg-born beings. 2 is the womb-born beings. Now, egg-born beings, it's easier for us to see because we can see the egg is there, like a chicken, like a duck. Okay, egg-born being. A womb-born being is like a human-born, or certain animals are also womb-born beings. Okay. Number three, there are certain moisture-born beings. Lower forms of animal life. There are certain animals that they form not by egg, not by womb, but due to the external condition. They have a certain liquid, certain plant liquid or animal liquid that they can able to reborn from there. How is it like? There are sometimes in the National Geographic documentary. Sometimes I've seen this type of this one. These are not. I mean, if you want to talk about bacteria, they are also like that. Yeah. If you want to talk about virus, they're like that. But whether they are actually a being or not, whether they have consciousness or not, that is another thing. Yeah? But there are also beings which have consciousness. They born just like a bacteria like this. And they need certain external, certain liquid, certain temperature, certain condition, and then they can able to form. Okay? Moisture-born beings. Number 4 is beings having spontaneous rebirth. These are devas, petas, and hell beings, and usually spontaneous rebirth, you cannot see them. Most of the people cannot see them. Most of us, we cannot see all these things. But there are some very small percentage of people, once in a while, they can able to see this type of beings. All right? They can able to see this type of beings. Anyway, okay, so now we know that in Buddhism, we consider this, there are 4 types of rebirth. Now, let us go back to the question. Let's go back to the question. Okay, go up. So beings who have come forth depending on viscous sticky substance from plant, shrub, grass, etc. At the moment of rebirth, consciousness, or at the moment of rebirth, consciousness take place, are regarded as Sambhavesi. Now, when we say Sambhavesi, now take for example, before we answer this question first, take for example a human born first, a human, a fetus inside the mother's womb. Before we talk about this, the question 1. Now, when now this is what I read from Buddhism and then from over the time. Whether it's true or not, it's hard for us going to able to define it exactly. But this is what I know theoretically. When the mother's egg and the father's sperm come together, when there is a gestation, and then there's a formation, and then therefore later part the cells will start to divide, and slowly it become a proper fetus and become a baby and so on, right? That's what we all know. Now, when this sperm and egg, when they collide together, when they comes together, when this formation comes together, then, and not necessary it's a living being yet. It's not necessary it's a living being, because according to Buddhism, the consciousness may not have arisen at that particular fetus yet. How many days will it have to take? That one I really do not know. Some says maybe 7 days after the formation of the egg and the sperm, and then there will be consciousness arises because of it. Or maybe 10 days or 20 days. That one I really do not know. How are we going to see whether there's a being or not? Just because if you look into just because we cannot say that even if you are, you take a what do you use that machine, ultrasound, then you go and scan the mother's womb, and then you see whether there's the fetus will start to beep pop beep pop beep pop, and even then also we are not perfectly sure whether the consciousness already arisen in this one or not, because the beating of, let's say, the heart, let's say the beings may not be the consciousness may not be there yet, but then again we do not know. Again we do not know. Usually I think it comes within a few days, and a few days somewhere there, or slightly a little bit longer. By the time you have a heart beating, that means that the fetus has developed quite far already. But anyway, it's hard for us to say when is this consciousness actually arises. Now, when you say the consciousness arises, this is what we call Sambhavesi, a seeker. Here, I mean, it's easy for us to know that, here it arises in the mother's womb, right? And then let's say that son or daughter just disappear from a Deva world, enter into the mother's womb. Then sometimes people thought that there must be a Sambhavesi, as if like there's something to travel from the Deva world to enter into the mother's womb. Just like, for example, the Buddha's time, and now the Buddha story, and they have the white elephant entering into the mother's womb. No, that is a description of Sambhavesi, but it's not like a white elephant enter into it, It's just like a Deva pass away from that Deva realm, and then it arises right at then when it disappeared, that the last consciousness happened, then here the new consciousness takes place in the mother's womb. That is what we call Sambhavesi, seeking for rebirth. That means he still died, still able to reborn. There's no in between. There's no in between. Now, back to the question one again. Now, again, it's the similar concept. When the mucilage, or when all these liquid substance and the conditions are right, doesn't mean that there's already a being there. So it must have to have a being who died or passed away, last consciousness from there, death consciousness, and then after that it arises, that consciousness, it takes place on that particular type of liquid, because that particular liquid or so on, it's considered materiality, it's considered body, a body for that particular consciousness, for it to able to sort of grow. So here is again the Sambhavesi is just another, let's say, another animal or another being disappear from there, arises together with that in that mucilage or vegetation or shrubs or that moisture. This is what it meant here. Similar. Now, question number 2. In the case of Devas, are they Sambhavesi first, then Buddha immediately? No. Again, this is theory, because I cannot fly to a Deva world and able to see all of them, how they exist. It's impossible. Now, again here, you see, in the case of Devi, they are spontaneous rebirth. Okay, they are spontaneous rebirth. When spontaneous rebirth takes place, then karma takes place. All right, and the karma is important. The karma here is that, let's say that particular Deva pass away, and then the next rebirth also as a Deva. Okay, so he passed away as a Deva, immediately disappear here because of the karma itself, then that karma itself produced the body of the being when that first consciousness arisen. When the rebirth consciousness takes place for the deva, immediately the materiality, which is very fine, and is being produced by the karma itself. So the body and the mind comes as if like together at one go. They don't have like external things like egg bond or moisture bond or the womb bond. That one we need all the materiality, all the external conditions to be ready first. Then only the consciousness are able to arise. But for devas, for these hell beings, for these betas, no, impossible. They are immediately able to arise because of the karma. Yeah? And if you are in the beta world or hell beings, and then immediately the body is there, and then start torturing you already. Torture you, fry you, and everything. You, because of that body, you feel the pain, you feel everything. Immediately you die because you go into that boiling pot, you die, and then you're born again, and then immediately the body is there, and then you get fried again, and then again and again and again. So they come together. They come together. I give you question number 2. I haven't forgot yet. Okay. This is the one who in the orange one. All those who have come, all those become sentient beings caused by karma, without conceiving in a womb and without depending upon anything, with the sudden appearance of a material body or form, are said to be sambhavesi. Further, it has been explained in the commentary as Bhuta. Let us develop metta towards okay. That one is another part of it. So here again, as I repeat again, according to Mahasi Sayadaw, that the karma when it's produced, the karma produce the body, immediately it becomes the material body already. So the sambhavesi and the body, and therefore the whole thing you just consider it as a Bhuta, being. As considered as a being already. Okay? All right. Now let's go back to question 3. So according to Mahasi Sayadaw, the manner of developing metta with a view to bring about prosperity and wealth is correct practice. Now let us see what the Mahasi Sayadaw wrote. Okay. Now what has been stated describe the manner of developing metta with a view to bring about prosperity and wealth. Thereafter, it has been instructed how to develop metta to get liberated from unmerited misery and sufferings in the following way. Okay. Now it says that Mahasi Sayadaw says that the metta sutta, or the chanting of the metta, it brings about prosperity and wealth. Okay, let's go and answer this thing. I will go back again. So is it correct or not? So the question is it the correct practice? Okay. Let us see. Now, many times we have chanted Metta Sutta. Many times the monk has chanted Metta Sutta, and many times perhaps you may have chanted Metta Sutta. Okay. So when we chanted the Metta Sutta to the devotees, and then whether the devotees got rich or prosperity, they didn't come back and tell us. Next time, hopefully you all come back and tell us whether the Metta Sutta work or not. Then only we can see that whether it work or not. You all got your rich already, you all diam already, you diam already. Don't tell us. Okay, put this joke aside. Never mind. We put this joke aside. Okay, now Put it another way. Put it another way. All right. Now, let's say you do dana. Let's not talk about metta yet. Huh? Let's say you do dana. And when you do dana, and because many of you are practitioner, so you make an aspiration that with this dana that you perform, may you able to realize nibbana, may you are able to attain the path and fruition consciousness or path and fruition knowledge, right? But you direct the dana towards that thing. Do you think that the dana will not give you prosperity and wealth in the future too? Maybe not in this life, but maybe in future. It will come too. It will come. Because whether when you do that dana, whether you want the when you want the merits or not, it will still come to you. Whether you request to it or not, it will still come to you. But if you don't ask, if you don't aspire for liberation, that it will not come. Yeah. But because you direct the dana for so that you have a proper condition, a good condition, that means you have health, you have wealth, you have financial stability, then only you can meditate, isn't it? Then only you can able to give up on a certain, then only you can meditate. If you are so poor, if you are poor and sickly, how are you going to go to a retreat? How are you going to meditate? All your mind is thinking about getting money. All you're thinking about making your body healthy. That's about all you think for the rest of your life. But because of that dana that you perform, then yes. So because of that dana you perform and you directed it for liberation, then all this wealth and all this health, it begins to support you for that liberation. So a lot of people, when they do dana, they don't do with this liberation thing. So they enjoy happiness, enjoy sensual happiness, they enjoy bodily good health, and that's about it. And they're happy, and that's about it. Getting out of liberation, getting out of samsara? No, they don't want. Huh? So similarly, when you do all this chanting of Metta or Ratana Sutta or whatever sutta that you are doing, all this chanting, the health, the wealth and prosperity, those are automatically will come to you. You don't request for it. It will come to you because of your purity of your mind. That purity of your mind is a wholesome mental state. And as a wholesome mental state, it produces wholesome karma. And a wholesome karma, it gives you health, it gives you wealth. So this is when the prosperity and wealth, these are secondary. These are automatically, it will come. So finally, when we develop metta, even when we develop this metta, Metta Sutta or understanding this Metta Sutta and finally go into the practice of metta, we use this metta as a supportive condition to support us so that when we go into the vipassana, then we can able to progress further in that sense, it helps us, it support us in that sense, and it's good. It's good. So this whole Metta Sutta is not just only happiness right here and now, but the Metta Sutta also finally at the end of the Metta Sutta, it says that it is finally for the liberation too. Right? So this prosperity and wealth is part of its automatic default meritorious deeds. Meritorious action, meritorious result, happy result. Okay, all right, and that's about it. Sambhavesi, and also all these things. And I hopefully that all of you, if you got a chance to take up this book on Mahasi Sayadaw and take a look at it. it's a lot of things you want to look about metta, Brahma, metta. I explain a lot of things. Of course, you just bear up with the English a little bit because these are translated quite long ago by sometimes, the English may be a little bit difficult. Yeah. So even, for example, you see, just before we go, you see, may those beings who come to be and have already been born be happy. Repeat 3 times, May all beings who are about to come to be and already come into be happy. Repeat 3 times. Now, these are, when you say they repeat 3 times, you have to understand that in the Burmese way of giving a Dhamma talk, the speaker and the listener are very engaging. They are both are very engaging. So the side of when they give the Dhamma talk, sometimes they do certain chanting, and then the audience will say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu for 3 times, and then sometimes the speaker will ask, especially the Sayadaw or the teachers will ask the listener to repeat certain verses. For example, these are certain verses, and they always repeat 3 times. They repeat 3 times. So sometimes when you listen to their Dhamma talk, if you happen to be there in Burma, it's quite interesting. The listener will not go into like sleepiness because you're always engaging with the teacher. You have to repeat something, which is in a way is good for those who have a lot of faith. Well, a lot of faith, they love this way. They love this way of giving a Dhamma talk because it's engaging and there's a lot of connection with the speaker and also with the Dhamma and so on. They love it. They love it this way. And it's interesting. Like the way that we give Dhamma talk is one way talk and then you all listen. After that, finish your sao tong and then we all sao tong, everything go to what we do. So of course, right now we do that, but in the other times, they are very engaging. Okay? Next question. Okay. What is this? Okay. Sometimes there were complicated, advanced, and scholastic academic questions which are of very little benefit to most of us. Sometimes the questions themselves were problematic. Most of us are learners. May I suggest questions forwarded should be practical, applicable, and beneficial in our daily life and practice. They should be in the suitable domains in Dhamma and the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Buddha said, what I know is like the leaves in the forest. What I teach you is like the leaves in my palm, and they are enough for getting out of samsara. Similarly, our attention should be more narrowed down and focused only on in the suitable domains as our energy and resources are limited. Bhante has been patiently and compassionately teaching and guiding us and accommodating all our questions. May I suggest that we make optimal use of this platform for the benefits of most yogi and listener. Bhante, please comment. Thank you. All right. Okay. Now, throughout this time, we have been doing it. We have been doing these talks since maybe I think since November last year, and I've been carry on doing these Dhamma talks, and my way of giving Dhamma talk. Sometimes also I do a Q&A session because with the Q&A session we can enable us as the teacher or as a speaker to understand whether the listener or the listeners understand what we say correctly. Because sometimes we say something, they may think of something else. So the questions here is help us to open up so that we can able to straighten or to correct certain things. Now, of course, when we are learning the Dhamma, all of us are different. Uh, now, all of us are different. Some of us learn Dhamma by scholarly thinking. Some learn the Dhamma by action. They don't have much of a scholarly thing. Some action means like doing dana, doing sila. They understand that, they practice that, and they are good with it. Some learn the Dhamma by observing other people, and of course they are also doing it, practicing, and so on. Some people, both scholarly and also the practice, are very well developed. Some are more scholarly type, some are more practical type. So there are different types of Buddhists and different type of yogis, different types of listener like what we have right now. And in the listeners over here, and the listeners over here too, not all of us are very advanced. There are some of us are very new to Buddhism. A few that I know of. They are very new to Buddhism. But nevertheless, they still come to the Dhamma talk here and they try to listen. And sometimes we talk about Abhidhamma a little bit, we talk about Pali words a little bit. They may hear a little bit difficult. A little bit difficult. Then we understand also. Now, some of you again, they are Vipassana, pure Vipassana practitioner. Now, some of you may be also practicing Anapana, practicing Metta, then you transfer to Vipassana, and some of you are just doing only Metta. So there are various range of yogis and listeners over here in Zoom and also in the Facebook here. My job is to try to accommodate all. Now, whichever question you come in. Now, when you say that sometimes, like, of course, the questions sometimes they are complicated. Sometimes they are not so correct. But this is how we learn. This is how we learn. This is how we learn from others. And my job here is to help you to straighten your views, which is one of the 10 meritorious action, to straighten your views. And when you understand it, your views hopefully get straightened up, get corrected, and it's perfect, and it's all right. Sometimes you have questions are complicated. Sometimes their questions are very technical. Sometimes their questions are very academic. Sometimes there are questions who are in a way contradictory to the Dhamma. Sometimes there are questions in the sense of like connected with the Dhamma, but in the daily life, and then how to practice. Some questions are very how to practice applicable, and so on. So there are various range of questions, and it's perfect and it's wonderful. So because here right now we are not in the retreat, then the questions, I put it within the umbrella of Dhamma. Then it's fine. You don't have to be just for foundation of mindfulness or this or that. Within the umbrella of Dhamma, it's good. So now, earlier on, some time back, I sometimes when it comes to the Wednesday, I say that when you ask your question, feel within the Dhamma, I wouldn't able to answer certain questions. For example, as I said that if you ask me about how the ghost look like, of course I cannot understand. cannot this one. Or you ask me, you got problems with your husband, you argue. How do I look married to you to answer your question? I'm not in that situation to answer those questions. Certain questions I have to put it aside. But so far, in all this time, the questions are connected with the Dhamma. I have not rejected any question at all. I have not created any question or planned any question in so far that what I have been doing with the Q&A. I have not done anything. If it's not enough questions, so we finish it earlier. We have more questions, we drag it a little bit more. So here, questions all come in from all walks of life. And this is how we learn. This is how we learn. I don't want us to narrow down in a certain sense that it's just on the four foundation on the Vipassana only. And then we ignore the rest of those people who are practicing also in another way. So that is not my this one. Because we want to see, we want to help as much as we can for those who are going on this noble path. All right. So question within the Dhamma, when we have this type of Zoom talks, then it's perfectly fine. But when you come to a retreat with me, then all these type of questions, some of the questions, I will ignore, because when it comes to really in the retreat, I do not want the yogis going to think of all kinds of academic questions. If you all kinds of academic questions, I'll throw the question back to you. Because what for you want to do that in the retreat session? The retreat sessions are supposed to be applicable, meditate. Don't think of it don't think too much. Maybe you have problems with your meditation, or you don't understand a certain terms or certain passage of what the teachers mentioned, then yes, then you ask those type of questions. But if you ask me all kinds of academic questions in a retreat, I don't entertain. But now I entertain anything that is within the Dhamma, if I can able to understand, able to answer your questions. Perhaps it may not be a satisfaction, but I answer it the best as I can within a very small time slot. Certain questions we can able to explain more than what within sometimes there's a number of questions we cannot explain everything. So for now I don't want to confine into just Vipassana meditation only. Although my talks is connected with Vipassana meditation, but sometimes I talk about within Samatha a little bit also. Not that because I know how to practice Samatha, but mainly I do focus on Vipassana. So when that question come in, there are also various types of questions, because there are new yogis, there are new listeners, there are 20, 30 years, 40 years of being a Buddhist and practitioner and so on. So this is how I look at it. This is how I look at it. So I not just only practical daily life, but whatever questions you under the Dhamma, not under the sun, under the Dhamma, then we help you to clear your understanding, or I can sometimes give you more pointers, more tips for you to do things a little bit better. I may not be perfect, but what I can do, whatever I can do. Okay? Now, this is all the question there is. Correcting one's view, straightening where Dittiju Kamma. This is one of the 10 meritorious. If you can able to straighten, this is also one of the 10 meritorious action, mental action here. Okay? All right, that's it. There's no more questions anymore over here. All right, I think that's about it. 10 o'clock already. Okay.